Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I've got to put this combi boiler in this house I came to the other week with the leak. It's a little bit of a mess inside, so I will pre-warn you. I can just about get to what I need to get to, so I'll take you inside and I'll show you what I'm on about. I'm going to put the boiler in here. We've got a main Ecotech combi 25 kilowatt. I know they're not the best boiler, but it is a fairly decent budget boiler. So our pipes will drop down. Obviously flew out the wall. Gas meter is just on the other side. I'll show you that in a second. I can get into that roof space there, which is not too bad actually, and I'll show you around at the back boiler what we've got. So we've got an old BBU. I'm not sure, is it a backseat? Oh, it's a backseat Bermuda. Pipes go that way and the airing cupboard's on the back side of the wall, so we need to get all this drained. Obviously I'm going to run a new gas supply in anyway, but that will need all disconnecting and safely making good. That's all coming out. They're just going to put like an electric fire in there, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. And then this side, you have to excuse the mess a little bit. Obviously we've got a vented hot water cylinder with tanks in the roof. All this will come out. We've got, I think that 15mm, that top one there is the gas, and their flow and return to, there's a radiator in there. So we can get drained down from here. That drain off there is cold feed to the cylinder. Oh no, that's primary, I lied. Where's the cold feed to the cylinder? It must be on the other side, but I'll probably siphon it out anyway. I've just got the water off. I'll open a hot tap, get everything drained out of the tanks in the roof, and yeah, we'll start to make sense of it all. Obviously we've got, that's fuse spare there by the looks of it. We'll make sure everything's safely isolated. All the gas has already been capped off anyway, but I'm running a new gas line in, so I'm not going to test it before I start, because it's not. But yeah, that immersion wire don't look very good, does it? Look at the state of that. Hopefully that's isolated. Don't go putting your hands on that one. Look at the state of that. Yeah, we'll make sure everything's isolated and then we'll make a start. So we've got our gas meter here. As I say, it's all been dissed off already, I believe, although they haven't put a label on it. So we've got a bonding. All we'll do is probably come out the bottom of this box along, and our new gas boiler is going to be approximately here somewhere. So we've got probably, obviously we'll do this in 22mm. That'll be fine, that distance. It's what, 5 meters actual length. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the condense yet. There is a sink over there, but it's minging, I'm not going to lie. So flue will come out here, gas, and yeah, I don't know if there's a cooker over the other side as well. I'll probably put a pipe into that but not connect it up because it looks a bit wrong. Yeah, that's what we're up against anyway. So this is up in the first roof space bit. Boiler's going directly below. It's actually not too bad up here to walk around. We've got plenty of head height. All I was going to do is I know I'm going to use speed fit. I know everybody's going to hate me for that, but it's just going to be quicker. We're going to clip along here, space them up, lag, and then we've got to try and get through into that roof space to obviously pick the hot, cold and the heating up. That's plan. I thought there'd actually be some hot and colds coming for this, because there's a sink down there, but they must run under the floor. I can't really tell unless they're underneath these boards. So yeah, that's first plan. Obviously I can lift one of them up when my boiler's coming up anyway. I can just lob that stuff out of the way for a second, and then we'll just clip straight along there, get into the other roof space, and then just pick them up in there. I'm not a massive fan of speed fit, but some jobs it really does make sense to use it, and obviously we can lag all them in and just get them across there. So this bit's not too bad. The worst bit is probably going to be through there. So my boiler's going to sit there. I've actually got the standoff bracket for it. So it's the main Ecotech Combi, as I've probably already said. What I like to do is get the flue hole marked out, get that cord, the gas one cord, the PRV, get all my holes out the wall where we need to be, so we can see exactly what we're up against. Then we'll get the bracket on the wall, and then we can start getting the flow and returns and the hot and colds up the wall. We'll take a gas up there as well, ready for the connection for the cooker when they get that bit sorted. So we get all this done, get all the mucky stuff out of the way, and yeah, and then we can start on the pipe work then. So I've just drilled a hole through for the gas. I went from both sides so I didn't damage the brickwork. So we need to piece the sleeving at 280. So we're bringing 22 into the boiler, so that'll be fine with 28. Got my tape measure stuck. Oh, I hate when that happens. So piece of 28 copper cut at 280, and that gas pipe's in. I'll get my tape measure back in a second. Right, little progress update. Gas is through. flue is through, standoff brackets on the back. What it might be paid for me to do now is get some pipes up behind. I'm probably going to hit a joist somewhere. I really want a gas pipe up there as well, so that might have to go up the side. Still need to set them screws out before I catch myself. So yeah, because I'm not going to be able to feed the pipework in after. So obviously the boiler will hang on there, and then we've got the valves. I am going to take the bottom out of this cupboard as well. So obviously we've got the servicing distances. I just didn't want to take the bottom out while I was doing all the drilling, because that's obviously full of stuff. So I wanted to try and contain all the dust, but yeah, I will be taking that out. And then obviously flue straight out the wall, boiler on, and then we can just connect the pipework in underneath, and then we can get across. I'm still not sure what to do with the condense. We might be able to get it, well, there is a gap behind the unit, but obviously I've got to get across all that lot, which is not going to be the best. So yeah, that's my initial plan. The good thing with these boilers as well, they do send you longer tails when you use the standoff bracket that comes in the kit. So they send you everything you need. Obviously you've got hot, cold, gas, flame return. The only thing we've got to watch, obviously the gas will hit the flue. So we'll end up having to offset around that. So I need to get the pipes worked out where they're going to go up through the wall. Can you get see? So the 65mm centres on these boilers. So 65, obviously centre is the gas. Then we've got 65, that'll be the cold. 65 for the return, and then 65 for the flow. The chances of us not hitting a joist are absolutely zero, but we've been lucky before. So what I'll do is get the laser in, line all them through, and then we'll drill at the top so we can get our flow returns nice and neatly in. Obviously we can clip as well, but that's where the pipes need to be. That gas, as we've already said, will end up offsetting that around, but we need to work out where the joists are. I mean, it may be that they are going the right way for us, but looking through the loft hatch, it doesn't look like they are. So we'll get this bit done, get some holes, get some pipes in, and then I'll show you up in the roof, or I'll show you the connections of the boiler, and then we'll go up in the roof. We've actually been lucky. We've not hit a joist on any of them. So they're all set up. We get some pipes in before we get the boiler on the wall. Obviously I still need to drill my gas one. I'm probably thinking I'm going to run this at the side now, the gas, just up that right hand side. So we get one more through that. That'll be the one where the wood you see. And yeah, that'd be fine. I'm not sure where I'm going to put my filter yet. I might, I don't know, I haven't thought about that bit yet. I might mount it to the side, or I might even put it up in the roof. We'll have a think about that. Right, we're up in the roof. Our boiler is directly below this board here. We've had a quick measure. I think they're only nailed down, so I just quickly whip this one up and we should be able to see our holes coming through. And then we've got a straight run across, bar a little bit of stuff we need to move out of the way, into the other roof space to pick our hot, cold and our heating up. So the joists are actually going the right way for us. Well, right way for not hitting them when we drilled them, that's for sure. So all we'll end up doing is clipping on top of this and lagging them. We can't cut or notch into these, because obviously these are trusses, I believe, not joists. They're not very deep anyway. So it'll be fine up here. It's only like an attic space, so we'll just clip on top of there. I'll be able to put some pipes in there now and get the boiler on the wall. Just soldered them tails up. Soldering is a little bit snotty, but I just didn't want to get any leaks behind the boiler. You never ever see it in a million years. So I'm thinking, because obviously I've got to put a cowl mag, I'm going to put a shock arrestor on this as well. I might be able to get my cowl mag in there, just above the boiler. It's either that or it's got to go in the roof. I'm thinking either mount my filter at the side, or I'm not sure yet. I might be able to get it in there. I don't think it will sit above the boiler to be able to get the top off it, so I might just sit it above that unit. That is the return on these. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I think I'm going to get the boiler on the wall next. The gas pipe I can feed down from above anyway and connect onto that one. The pipes will all be supported in a second as well, but I just want to get the boiler on the wall so it's out of the way, and then we'll have a look at getting everything connected. That lift down there killed me. It was just a really awkward one, this one, for some reason. I just couldn't get above the frame very easily, but got it on the wall. What I've done is remove that shelf as well. I will be probably putting that shelf back in lower down and then putting the doors back on. I'll do something with it, because obviously I needed to get to my pipe work. I maybe dented the end of my gas pipe a little bit, but I think it'll be okay. So boiler's all on the wall. Obviously we've got hot, cold, flow return. Gas I'm going to clip up the side. So yeah, the next bit is like the valve pack. So we've got inbuilt fill loop on these boilers. So yeah, not too bad. I know I probably could have put the valves on underneath first, but this one won't be too bad, to be honest with you. And we'll get everything piped in. So this is all your valve pack accessories that come with the boiler. Obviously that one is return, so you can put your fill link in there. Obviously you've got a gas flow with a drain off tap on the bottom, and then your cold. Right, so I've just tightened up all of... A little bit awkward to film under here, but I've just tightened up all of my valves onto the boiler. So obviously we've got a drain off tap, hot, cold, that's cold, and then obviously fuel loop at the front. I've still got the gas to do and the PRV to connect up, but because I want to come across with the gas, I'll do that one in a minute. So all at the top, as I say, I'm going to have a look at the filter in a second, and obviously the flue hole's already done. So sort of getting towards the worst bit out of the way really. Up in the roof won't be too bad. So what I've done is I've left the connection off for the cooker. I'm just going to take that up the right hand side. I need to still seal around my gas pipe. It is sleeved, as you can see. Well, you probably can't see. It's quite dark, but yeah, that was awkward soldering under there. But we got that bit done, all connected up. So underneath the boiler is done. The bit that's really worrying me on this job, a couple of the radiators I can't get to put valves on. Legally, I don't know where you stand, because obviously you're supposed to put TRVs on. I don't know if there's extenuating circumstances. I'll show you in a second. But literally, there's not a cat in hell's chance that you're going to be able to put a TRV on. What I might do is just put on my paperwork that you can't get to the radiators to put TRVs on. Likewise, I don't know how I'm going to flush them ones out. My plan is to put some connections up in the roof, so when I connect onto the other pipework, to flush everything out. I want to pressure test everything as well, make sure there's no leaks before we fill up. But some jobs you can only ever do your best, and that's all you can ever do. Obviously you've got to look at what you're working in, what you're working with, and yeah, just do your best, get the system as clean as possible, try and make everything up to regulations. Well, obviously with the new building regs, obviously you have to put TRVs on, you don't have a choice, but it's just, some jobs are just impossible, literally impossible. So yeah, we'll do our best as we always do. So pipes out the top of the boiler, still got the flue to do, connected all up. Still unsure on the condense yet, if I'm honest. I need to really get it in that sink waste. And then just the PRV, which I've got that one sticking down. So we probably use a compression on there, so it's easier to disconnect. Although you can disconnect them on there on these, but compression there might make it easier, and then just through the wall. So in terms of the boiler, apart from the wiring and the flue, that's pretty much done. So we're back up in the roof space. Obviously we've got flow, hot, cold, return, and that one on the right is our gas. So I'm just going to use speed fit on the plumbing side, obviously not the gas. Just get these brought across into that other roof space, and then we'll find the connections that side ready to connect on. I can't find the hot and cold for that kitchen sink, they must go under the floor. So yeah, we'll find them over there. The cylinder is only just on the other side of that anyway, so we'll be able to pick it up there, which will be fine. So get a load of clips on here, get a load of pipes across, and yeah, we'll get this bit done. So obviously there's a radiator in there, but there's no hope in hell that you're ever going to get through into there. So I'll probably just not have to put a TRV on that one. There's just nothing you can do. Like, I know you could argue don't take these jobs on, but there's always circumstances. What do you do? Right, so I've got the Combi on the wall. What we need to do now, obviously this is an old back boiler. This probably would have had 4 tap-ins. So we disregard the old one that went to the coil. We don't need that anymore. The old return, I think, is on an injection tee the other side, so we don't need that anymore either. So all we need to do is find our flow and return, which the flow is the one with the pump on going up. So we need to find that 22 up in the roof, and the return is the one next to it. So we need to find them 2 22s up in the roof. That will connect the heating back on. The pipes are all going up anyway. It doesn't look like there's anything in the floor, which makes it easier because obviously there's less chance of getting leaks. So find them 2 up in the roof, connect onto them, and then the hot and cold. So obviously we've got hot off the cylinder, which actually everything goes up as well, so there's nothing under the floor. So we need to find that hot up in the roof. There'll be a cold up there obviously as well for the tanks. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, that's probably cold feed to the heating. That one, yeah, that one's cold feed to the heating, the one that somebody's bodged that speed fit isolator on. So we don't need that anymore. All of this will come out. We'll be able to get rid of all of these pipes in this airing cupboard, apart from the 2. Where did them heating ones come off? Oh, they're clipping at the bottom, so somewhere they must be on a drop, so we can get a drain off on there and get that heating drained. Bloody terrible in here. But yeah, that's what we need to do. So most of our work is actually up in the roof, and what I'm going to do is put some valves on, and then I'm going to connect the mains on and just flush out the heating best I can. So yeah, them two, we need them two, the hot and the cold, and that's fine. I made myself a path all the way through to the other side. Normally I wouldn't run my pipes in the middle. I normally try and keep them to the sides, but as you can see what we're working against, they're just going to have to, I'm just going to clip them every joist I'll go, because being plastic, and then we can pick them up. The airing cupboard is directly below all that, so I'll get some of this insulation out of the way. We'll have a look, see if we can find our flow and return. There's a third tank which I never spotted. I don't know if you can see, it's probably quite dark. This is some real world camera work. That's probably bath cold feed to the tap, tank cold feed to the bath tap, so that'll be cold to the bath tap. We'll open the cold up. You can see this one here, that tank there is empty, so that one feeds the cylinder. And years ago they used to do the baths with a separate feed off the tank, so I'm guessing that's what that is. Obviously we'll have to pick that pipe back up off the cold main when we come across. Still yet to drain the heating down, but the water is all isolated, so we'll find somewhere to drain the heat in, get that drained, and then start to get some pipes brought across. But yeah, you can sort of see what we're up against. Not the best, but we're getting there. We'll get it done. Right, gas pipes all in. I've bent everything that I can. To be fair, I haven't bent that one, but yeah, you get the idea. That the gas should be absolutely perfect. What we've got, I've probably used about 5 meters of copper, 4 meters plus obviously the bends. So yeah, obviously we've still got flue to do, gas pipe to seal on the inside, and then up in the roof for the rest of the afternoon to get them pipes across. Hose through the letterbox, because that's literally the only place I can get. I ain't got a key to that door, and the hose don't reach the back one, and it's literally a mess. So if we drain it through there, it'll be fine. So I've just put my hose on that one there, which is the primary return. That'll drain all the back boiler, it'll drain the little tank in the roof, but it won't drain the radiators. So I'll have to put my other hose on that one just down there. That'll drain the pipework in the roof then for the radiators, and we can get connected on. Obviously that cold feed for the cylinder looks like it's been leaking at some point. Somebody's put a bit of hose on it and just put it on the floor. So maybe that's coming out anyway. And then once we've got all this pipe work out, I've cleared a bit of a space. Oh, try not to fall over. I've cleared a bit of a space up in the roof. Obviously the ceiling's all down anyway, and all we've got to do is pick flow and return up just up there. I'll take you up there in a second. Flow return, hot and cold are up there, so it shouldn't be too bad. And then I've clipped all the way along the other space, but look at it. Obviously when I came to price it, this ceiling had all fallen down. It was pouring out the overflow. So we are draining down. Posty will get a surprise if he comes, won't he? It's the only place I could drain it, because my hose didn't reach and I didn't want to drag it across all the rubber. I'm going to mount the filter up here. I've put that's the flow, I'm going to put an air tap on that. But I think it's just going to be easier to get to up here, or to service. Not only that, I can leave myself some flushing points, so I can get everything connected up on the heating, but we can get everything flushed out first as well. So it's just one of these CalMag magnetic filters. They're not too bad. So I'm just connecting these speed fit pipes in. Let's bring the torch out so you can see what you're doing. So it's just a case, obviously you've probably seen these before. And then super seal insert wherever I put it. A bit tight. The pipes got nice and square, and then mark your depth, how far they go in. They go in about there. There we go, that's in, and then we just connect above onto the copper. So I'm just bringing all these hot and colds around. So we've done copper off the boiler, and then we ran them straight through there. That 15mm one there is the gas to the cooker, but I'm not sure whether to connect that cooker back in yet or not, because it's a bit. And then we're going to lag all these as well. So I've kept them as neat as I can. Harry's come to give me a hand as well. So yeah, we've kept them as neat as we can. Obviously everything's accessible. We've got our CalMag filter, and then we just need to connect them up on the other side of the roof. Over there, in amongst all that lot, is my hot cold flow and return. Obviously we've done them in speed fit from the other side. I've only just pushed some bits through. We still need to clip up along here, but just got to be careful where I stand. them two there with them awful air valves, I'm not going to lie, they're rubbish, them vents. They're the old flow and return, so we need to pick them two back up, and that'll feed the radiator, and it cut off all the BBU, all the cold feed, vent and everything, because all the rest of it's on the cylinder side. So their flow and return to the radiator is them two, which are going across there. So we can pick them up anywhere on them two pipes, and then everything below that is cut off then, disconnected. The hot, I can't really see it, I think that one's vent off the heating, so that'll be cut off anyway. The heart comes off the cylinder. Whereabouts is the cylinder? I know the cylinder is directly below, but I can't see. It's probably that one there in the middle. That is that one the hot, or is that a vent? You just need to figure it out where the hot is, but the hot comes up because there's no T off it. So in amongst this lot will be the hot. We pick that one up, and then we just pick the cold up that used to go to the tanks. So one of these colds, and then all the tanks are done away with. Then the hot and cold heating and everything's picked back up across that side. So we'll put some more clips off. Obviously we'll lag all this lot, and then we'll try and get these tanks out as well. And yeah, that's pretty much getting there then. So we're just cutting into these flow and turns. They should all be drains, he says. Mind you, there's had that much water through the ceiling. Yeah, that's fine. So they're cut off. Always tricky working around and below stuff. Got that stuck, haven't I? But yeah, we'll just put a couple of speed fit sockets on there, and these 22s here will loop into them, and that's the heating picked up. What I'm going to do is connect these up here, and I'm going to flush them from the other roof space. So I take a hose onto the speed fit, the 22, and I'll put one on the return going around, and we'll just flush all this heating out before we connect it onto the boiler. That's the other good thing we do in speed fit. I can just disconnect it, connect the hose up and flush it all out. It's looking pretty manky. It's looking pretty manky in that pipe. Obviously a couple of the radiators I can't get to, as I've already said, but at least we've done our best. You can only ever do your best. So I don't know why there's a reducer in there, but I don't want a reducer. That's going to go straight on there and connect in. My hot is that one there, so that it's a little bit awkward to show anything. That 15mm one coming off there is the hot that feeds the basins and everything, and that the one that goes straight up is the vent, which will be cut away. So we just need to pick that 15mm one up there, and the cold is around the other side. So I've been oh, what was that? I nearly fell on my head. I've been cutting this cold back, so I need to join that one up there, because that was the old tank cold feed down to the, I think that one actually feeds the shower. So this tank is now empty above my head. I ran the shower and I emptied that. It's just a bar mixer on the wall. Don't know where that cold goes. It probably goes across the kitchen somewhere, and then this one here used to feed the tank, so we need this one connected on with that one, and then that one feeded across onto our Combi feed, which is a 15mm speed fit coming around the back. That's our hot there, so that used to come up in 22, and then it was just 15 across. So again, there'll be a T on that 15 somewhere. You can see what we're working with. It's not the best, is it? Look at all the ceiling on the floor. That was from a previous video when the tanks overflowed. When I came to price it, the ceiling had all fell down. So yeah, but yeah, we'll just get it connected up. So that one to that one, so that'll pick that coal back up, and then we just need to feed across to feed the new boiler, and that'll be fine. And then the hot we just have to connect back in there, which again, that's all we can do because we can't get to the other pipe work. I think it should be fine anyway, but as I say, I'm just hoping, I mean, it was all filled up. I'm just hoping there was no leaks on any of the existing pipe work, because we're never going to be able to get to it. We'll probably pop a pressure test on it. I mean, it's all soldered, there's no reason why it should leak, but we'll have to cross that bridge. It's always a bit of a risk when you do combi conversions anyway, but this one's a bit more, even more of a risk. Day 2. Right, I stayed last night and connected the flow onto the cold, and then the return out the door with the hose on it, and flushed all the radiators out. Normally I would do one at a time, but I literally cannot get to some of the radiators. Obviously I've been around and put the valves on, 3 of them, 4 of them I can't get to. So you can only ever do your best. What can you do? I know what I'll have to do is, obviously they've got now they've got some hot water. Now they've got hot water on. They've got some cleaners coming and they're supposed to be clearing this place out. So I'll put on the ticket that when the cleaner's been cleaned out, we can come back and put the remaining 4 TRVs on. There's literally nothing I can do. I'm not putting my health and safety at risk. I don't know what's in there. So yeah, I'm not putting my health and safety at risk for 4 TRVs. I'll put on the paperwork that I've not fitted them. The system's all been flushed out to the best of my ability, and that's all I can do. What I'm going to do now is get the boiler wired. I've got a EPH control to put on this, so it'll be up to regs best we can, bar 4 TRVs. So it's all been flushed, and I will be putting them TRVs on when I can get safely to the radiators. So that's what I'm going to do now. We'll get the boiler all commissioned. I've actually still got the flue to do. The hole's done, but I haven't done the flue yet. So that's on my next job. And the condense, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it. Ideally I want to get it into the sink waste, but again I literally cannot get across there safely. So what I might do, I've actually picked up a ground core. I might just take it out the wall, lag it, and then put it into a ground core outside. Not ideal, but again the best I can do, and that's all you can ever do. Right, I'm just doing all my commissioning checks on the boiler. So we have got 20 millibar inlet, which is going to be absolutely perfect. I still need to lag all the pipes. Obviously flue's done, the condens I haven't done yet, and then we're just going to go in the airing cupboard, strip out all the cylinder, get the tanks out the roof, as I say, lag all the pipes, seal the flue, condense, and then we're pretty much there really. One final thing I always do is just check flue integrity to make sure none of the seals are popped out. So yeah, we are getting there. Obviously to set these on maximum, you just follow the instructions. So you flick it, turn them fully anti-clockwise, then that twice, and it just goes through that procedures. They're not too bad. Everything is looking fine and dandy on this one. So flue's all sand and cemented in, just got the collar to put up on there so there'll be no white showing, and we're pretty much done now. This is what your back boiler looks like, obviously with all the fire front and everything removed. So these are your pipes that I was on about earlier. Obviously gas, awful cam working, gas is your bottom one, and then that's your, I think they call that an injection tee. So your primary return comes in at the bottom, then your heat and return on the one above. Let me see if I can hold the light. So that'll be your heat and return, that's your primary return, and that's your primary flow to your coil, and that's your heating flow. So we've done away with all them as well. So obviously we're connecting them back up in the roof, the heating ones. So it's just a case of getting this out. Is that timber in there? Look, that's timber in there, isn't it? That's not so good, but anyway, it's all coming out anyway. It looks a little bit ropey, this one, but yeah, everything's been disconnected on it. If you've not seen inside a cylinder before, this is just an indirect coil. So obviously you'd have your flow, your heating flow in, or your primary flow in, goes around the coil, heats the water, and then returns. We had to cut that one in half to get it out of the cupboard. Obviously that's your cold feed, that goes above your tank. That's your cold feed that fills the cylinder with domestic water, and then your hot out the top. It's just a basic system. That's how they work anyway. And then obviously that immersion heater, look at the state of that. Looks a bit dodgy, doesn't it, that one? And obviously that cylinder's not in the best of conditions anyway. But anyway, it's all took out now, and it should be a lot better. And one thing I always nearly forget, that's why I always put it on the seat of my van, is the carbon monoxide alarm. Obviously with the new regs you need to fit one. Right, that's got all the pipes lagged up in the roof space. We've got, I've left all the bits for the filter. They're not too bad because they do give you spare washers, obviously a spanner. They even give you a bit for the drainage tap as well. And I'll just put the cleaner, or the inhibitor that comes with the filter in there as well. So we'll take that down. But yeah, we're done up here. And as I say, we've done the best with the lagging. It should be fine. I've done my absolute best with this job. I've just got to finish the pipe lagging, wired up the EPH controller. I've decided to run the condense external. I know it's not ideal, but I just can't get into the kitchen sink waste. So I've done 1.5 inches out the wall, 3/4 into the boiler. So EPH is all wired up, we're just pairing that in. And in here, obviously we've ripped all the cylinder out. We've just plywooded the back and we've vented. Put a vent on the back of that, and we just stood the electric fire in its place. It's just tidied it up best we can really. So we've just got finished the paperwork on the boiler, finished commissioning it, and that's us done on this one, thankfully. we're just pairing the EPH stat in. So yeah, apart from that, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you all next week.